Somewhere in America right now, a dealer is handing over the keys to a brand new car from a company that might not exist in its current form by the time that loan is paid off. That is not fear-mongering. That is the honest state of 6 car brands selling vehicles in the United States today, each one facing a different flavor of crisis. Collapsing dealer networks, a federal ban, a cyber attack that gutted an entire quarter of production, or a parent company that has quietly stopped investing in the name on the badge. None of these 6 are officially dead. All 6 are selling cars on lots right now, with financing offers, trade-in deals, and salespeople telling you everything is business as usual. And in a sense, it is, right up until the moment it isn't. That gap between still selling and actually stable is exactly the trap this video is about to walk you through. This isn't a list built on rumors or forum speculation. Every brand here comes with public financial filings, federal regulatory decisions, or on-the-record statements from the company's own leadership. Mitsubishi opened 2026 with 299 stores across the country, down from 355 back in early 2019. That is 56 dealerships gone in 7 years, the third steepest decline of any mainstream brand in America, trailing only Ford and Chevrolet, both of which are vastly larger operations that can absorb that kind of contraction. Mitsubishi cannot. In the past 18 months alone, the company terminated roughly 35 franchises, and dealers who remain described frustration with an aging lineup, heavy reliance on low-margin fleet sales, and thin incentive support. Here's a detail that captures the whole situation. The Mitsubishi Mirage, a subcompact that was discontinued from production 2 full years ago, can still be found sitting brand new on some dealer lots today because nobody bought it the first time around. Mitsubishi says it is trading quantity for quality, closing weak stores while opening a smaller number of stronger ones. Maybe that turns things around. But a shrinking retail footprint combined with unsold discontinued inventory is not the profile of a brand in the middle of a rebound. And this one stings a little more because of what the name used to mean. A widely followed customer satisfaction survey conducted through the first half of 2026 named Chrysler the worst-rated car brand in America. Full stop, ahead of every other mass market and luxury nameplate on sale. That is not a marketing problem you fix with a new ad campaign. Chrysler's total U.S. sales landed around 125,000 vehicles last year, a 7% drop, on a lineup that has shrunk down to essentially 2 vehicles. After the Chrysler 300 and the Chrysler 200 sedan were both discontinued years ago and never meaningfully replaced. The brand's own CEO has publicly insisted Chrysler isn't dead yet, which is the kind of statement that only ever gets made about brands whose survival is genuinely in question. When your own leadership feels the need to say it out loud, that tells you something about what people are already assuming. Dodge just found out exactly where it stands inside its own company. Stellantis, the parent conglomerate behind Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and a dozen other names, announced its new long-term strategy built around 4 core brands going forward: Jeep, Ram, Fiat, and Peugeot. Dodge, an American muscle car icon with decades of brand equity, did not make that list. The reason is visible in the numbers. Dodge posted a 28% sales decline last year, driven largely by the discontinuation of the V8-powered Charger and Challenger, the cars that built the brand's entire identity. The electric Daytona that was supposed to carry that torch forward sold fewer than 7,500 units in its launch year, a rounding error compared to what the old gas cars used to move. Dodge now accounts for roughly 8% of Stellantis's entire U.S. sales volume, trailing even Chrysler. There is a rumored 900 horsepower V8 Charger floating around as a potential Hail Mary, but it would be built on borrowed platform technology from the brands that actually made the priority list. When your own parent company quietly stops planning around you, that is a louder signal than any sales chart. Jaguar Land Rover suffered a massive cyber attack beginning at the end of August 2025. One severe enough to be classified as one of the most damaging cyber incidents in British corporate history, with an estimated total cost to the UK economy of £1.9 billion. Production across all three of JLR's UK factories halted completely for 5 weeks, and the shutdown was so severe it dragged overall UK car production down 27% for the month, the worst single month for the entire British auto industry since 1952. The ripple effects nearly took down suppliers who depend on JLR for their own survival, with one major equipment maker alone estimating £13 million in losses and putting 900 workers on reduced pay just to survive the shutdown. By the time the company reported its fiscal third quarter results in January 2026, the damage was staggering. Wholesale volumes down 43% year over year, retail sales down 25%, and North America specifically cratering 64%, worse than Europe or even China. The quarter that should have shown a profit instead posted a £310 million loss, compared to a £523 million profit the year before. JLR is recovering. Production is back to normal levels as of mid-November, but an entire selling season simply vanished. On top of ongoing U.S. tariff pressure and the planned wind-down of legacy Jaguar models ahead of a still unproven relaunch. A single hack erased months of momentum that took years to build, and there is no guarantee the customers who walked away during those 5 weeks are coming back. Two consecutive fiscal years of catastrophic losses, roughly $4.5 billion, and then another projected $4.2 billion, the largest deficits in the company's history. Both Moody's and Fitch have downgraded Nissan's credit rating to junk status, making it the only major global automaker currently rated that low, a signal that debt markets no longer view Nissan as a safe bet for repayment. The company is cutting 20,000 jobs worldwide, roughly 15% of its entire workforce, and shuttering 7 of its 17 production facilities by 2027. Including a plant once considered the crown jewel of its Japanese operations. A planned merger with Honda that many analysts saw as Nissan's most realistic path to stability collapsed before it was ever finalized, leaving the company to navigate this alone. And that failed deal is part of what triggered the credit downgrades in the first place. Layer on the fact that roughly 300,000 of Nissan's Mexican-built vehicles are earmarked for export to the U.S. every year, right into the teeth of ongoing American tariff policy, and you have a company squeezed from every direction at once. Nissan's own CEO has publicly described the pace of simultaneous crises as relentless and has not ruled out a possible sale of parts of the business. This is not a brand quietly losing market share. This is one of the most recognizable names in the industry openly fighting for its long-term survival in real time, with the financial documents to prove it. Which brings us to the most unusual entry on this entire list, because it is not a story about sales, debt, or reputation at all. It is a story about a government simply saying no. Polestar, the Swedish electric performance brand, majority owned by China's Geely, has just been banned from selling new vehicles in the United States starting with the 2027 model year. The U.S. Department of Commerce denied Polestar's authorization under the Connected Vehicle Rule, a regulation that restricts the import and sale of vehicles containing software or connectivity hardware tied to China or Russia, citing national security concerns over the potential for remote data access or vehicle control. This is not a slow fade. It is a hard stop set by federal regulators, not by market forces or customer demand, and Polestar has publicly said it will not even appeal the decision. Polestar can continue selling its existing 2026 model year inventory and will keep servicing every vehicle already on the road, honoring warranties and pushing software updates as promised. But after that stock runs out, the brand is simply gone from American showrooms, full stop. To make matters worse, this comes while Polestar was already in a fragile financial position, requiring repeated capital injections from its parent company and even a reverse stock split just to maintain its NASDAQ listing. Notably, its sister brand Volvo, which shares significant technology and ownership ties, received an exemption from the same rule, which tells you this wasn't a blanket ban on anything electric or anything foreign. It was aimed specifically at Polestar's ownership structure. 94% of Polestar's global sales in early 2026 already came from outside the US, so the company is pivoting hard toward Europe as its real long-term home. But for any American shopping one of these remaining vehicles right now, they are purchasing the very last chapter of that brand's story in this country, with a regulatory expiration date already stamped on it. Look at what actually connects these six, because none of them share the same root cause, and that is exactly the point. Mitsubishi and Dodge are dying slowly from within, starved of investment and dealer confidence by parent companies making cold, rational bets on where the money actually is. Nissan and Chrysler are drowning under the weight of their own balance sheets and reputations, victims of years of strategic missteps finally catching up all at once. Jaguar got hit by something no business plan could have predicted, a single criminal act that erased an entire quarter overnight. And Polestar didn't fail the market at all. It failed a geopolitical test it never had a chance to pass. Caught on the wrong side of a rule written for reasons that had nothing to do with the quality of its cars. 6 different diseases. 1 identical symptom. Real uncertainty about what happens to your car, your warranty, and your resale value 5 years from now. If you're shopping any of these 6 brands right now, that does not automatically mean walk away, because deep discounts and real negotiating leverage often follow exactly this kind of instability. And some of these companies, particularly Nissan and JLR, have strong enough balance sheets and global scale to work through their current troubles. But go in with your eyes open. Ask the dealer directly about parts availability commitments and warranty backing beyond the next 2 or 3 years, and get specifics rather than reassurance. Weigh that uncertainty honestly against the discount you're being offered, because a great deal on a car from a brand that quietly exits the market in 5 years is not actually a great deal once you factor in resale value and service access. If this breakdown gave you something to think about before you sign, hit that like button so more buyers see it before they walk onto a lot, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because next we're covering the brands doing the exact opposite, gaining ground while everyone else struggles, and drop a comment with whatever brand you're currently cross-shopping, because there is a very good chance this list has something to say about it.